get myself situated here because I'm not standing at the podium as we're dancing with the divine this morning. Goddess morning!
Goddess morning!
Right? It is a goddess day in every way. You want to know why?
Yeah.
Well, first of all, because you're here and we're here. My beloved wife is also a minister, Reverend Divine Joy. How much better can you get with a person who is your person? You call it Divine Joy. Love to and we're known as the happily ever laughter love ministers. So it's so good to see the CSL East Hawaii family. You are awesome. Your light and your love is just magnificent. I'm just like, There's just so much beauty here on the island, and it's within every person here. So I'm so grateful to be back here. I actually came here and spoke on July 5th of 2015. So I had the privilege and pleasure to have the meeting with the beloved Tag. Yes, I did. And the word that I took away was his word that I was introduced to, which was called gratitude. So we have plenty of gratitude for the experience of Reverend Tag. I just want to thank Reverend Kathy for her graciousness of allowing us to be in service here today and to re-meet our family. And to thank Karen. Where is Karen? The beloved Karen, who gifted us a stay at her beloved bungalow from Vietnam. What a gift. And also the beloved Alexa for gifting us, we had the gift of her magic touch. Massage, goddess, that's her. So let me start off by asking, who knows what God's first name is? Would you like to know? Well, let me tell you this little story. Who knows Forrest Gump? Everybody's got it familiar. So Forrest Gump makes his transition, and he heads up to heaven, and he's at the pearly gates. St. Peter's there. St. Peter says, "Hi, Forrest. Good to see you. I heard so much about you. And we've been filling up fast. So we now have an entrance exam. There's 3 questions. You pass those 3 questions, and we'll open up those pearly gates and you're in." "Oh, well, all right." St. Peter says, "Well, the first question, Forrest, is what 2 days of the week start with the letter T?" Forrest says, "Well, that's easy. That's today and tomorrow." St. Peter goes, "Forrest, I didn't expect that, but I have to give it to you." Forrest, the next question. How many seconds are there in a year? Oh, I'll have to think about that. Oh, I thunk and I now have it. That will be 12 seconds. 12 seconds in a year? How do you come up with 12 seconds? Well, that's real easy. That would be January 2nd and February 2nd and March 2nd. St. Peter's going, I don't believe this, but I have to give it to you, Forrest. Last but not least, Forrest, the third question, what's God's first name? Well, that's real easy. That would be Andy. Andy, how do you get Andy? Andy walks with me, Andy talks with me, Andy calls me his own. St. Peter opens up the pearly gates and says, "Run, Forrest, run!" So now that we got the important information out to you today, which was, now you know Andy, his first name, so now you have that understanding. Yes, so moving into, how many of you have perhaps at least one challenge in your life? Anybody not? Okay, you never know. There could be somebody who says not. So, and how many of you would love to have some divine guidance in your life regarding the challenges and anything in it? Okay, pretty much everybody. So we're going to talk about guidance. And today's talk title is called Dancing with the Divine. So if you take the word guidance in itself, you see G-U-I, and then actually the word dance. So the word dance is in guidance. If you took the G and presented that as God, Goddess, Great Spirit, the G word, you and I dance. Guidance, G-E, you and I dance. So guidance is a dance with the divine, and you're probably all familiar with the shows Dancing with the Stars, and You Think You Can Dance, right? Well, in human dancing, when it's a couples, there's two people, and one happens to be the lead, usually the masculine energy, and then we have the feminine energy, which follows the lead of the masculine. If you have two partners who are trying to lead, how do you think that's going to work? Now, we can refer that into the guidance with the divine, right? So, to be able to dance with the divine. Now, to understand that the divine has a language, you need to know two things. You need to know what your role is. Our role is to be the follower of the divine masculine, who is going to know all the things that we need to know, but we need to follow it. Now, the feminine also has some power here, because the power of the feminine is she gets to call out what kind of dance it is, right? So we get to claim it because we get to name it. This is what kind of dance I'm choosing. And Great Spirit goes, okay, follow my lead. And then there is this dance. So that's how it works. However, there's this thing called language of the divine. Okay, here's the question. How many of you have voices in your head? And you can confess here, it's all, and we all do. We all have parts of us. I'm going to share with you this tool, and it is the big wheel of self. And Annette Milburn, beautiful teacher of mine back in Huntington Beach, California, taught that there was this big wheel of self, and on the wheel of self, there's all these spokes, aspects of our being. So if there is a part of us that is sad, the spoke of sadness, what's the opposite of sadness? Happiness. If I am generous as a spoke of myself, what's the opposite? Stingy, greedy. Name another aspect of yourself. What? Come on. Caring. Caring? Okay, caring. What's the opposite of caring? Selfish, indifferent, don't care. Another aspect of yourself. Loving. Loving. Opposite of loving could be hateful, right? So there are all these aspects of ourselves. If I have a part of me that is nasty and mean, what's the opposite of that? Right. Now see, this wheel has every aspect of self, because there is the light energy, high vibrational energy, and there's always the other side, which is the lower vibration of self. Now here's the thing, every part of that wheel, because we say God is all there, every aspect of that wheel, every self is the divine in expression. Now, we don't tend to think of the divine as being a negative or low vibrational energy, but that's the truth. It's a vibration. It's not an either or. It's an up and down. It's not a horizontal line. It's a vertical line. So the high vibrations of love and peace and joy and beauty are our highest vibrations of the divine. Sometimes I'm having a low vibration of the divine. It's still the divine. When I'm in a low vibration of the divine, it's either I'm coming from love, which is the higher vibrations, or if I'm in a low vibration or someone I'm with is in a low vibration, there is a call for love. And that call for love, whatever it is, will raise us up into the higher vibrations of the divine. It's all the divine. Not an either or, it's a vertical thing. So back to this wheel of our divine selves. I mean, honestly, the caterpillar is just as divine as the butterfly. So to remember that sometimes I'm having a caterpillar moment. What do I need to be more of my butterfly self? It's all good. It's all God. It's all the divine in expression. So here's this wheel, And in the very center is the hub. The hub is the neutral observer. The neutral observer only has one line. Do you want to know what it is? Okay, I'll talk to you afterwards. See, I have a little kid-full part of me that could just be very playful and just go, okay, that's just a spoke of me. The middle hub, the neutral observer, has one line. Isn't that interesting? Everybody say, isn't that interesting? I'm really enjoying Liz's talk today. Isn't that interesting? I wonder what I'm having for lunch today. Isn't that interesting? I love my mom. Isn't that interesting? I hate my mom. Isn't that interesting? You're very quick, isn't that interesting? This is a tool that you can use in your toolbox of spiritual practices. It is one of the gifts that I'm sharing with you today. It's very effective. Because the thing is I can be in the spoke of whatever I'm experiencing. It may not take me off the spoke, but it gives me a little space between me and the spoke. I'm having an experience that I'm just having an experience. I'm not all of that, and it isn't that interesting. So all the centers that I speak at and have served at, I can go in and say, isn't that interesting? That's what you got. So you can use that with when somebody else is having a high or low vibrational moment, and you can use that for yourself. And I like to follow that up with, if it's a low vibration, what's that person needing right now? Love. Yeah, and what is it that I might be needing when I'm in a low vibration? And just to ask the questions opens it up. What are you needing, beloved? And, how can I support you? So we do that for and with each other. So back to this wheel of self. We have this wheel. We know they're all divine voices. However, we're looking for this still, small voice, right? Because it is that voice that is the guiding factor. It's also called intuition. In Words That Heal by Douglas Block, he writes, we live in a world that is undergoing rapid transformation. The old rules and guidelines are no longer valid. There is only one source of information and guidance that you can depend upon, the voice of divinity within you. And then from the Tao of Pooh, he says, the masters of life know the way. They listen to the voice within them, the voice of wisdom and simplicity, the voice that reasons beyond cleverness and knows beyond knowledge. I've heard that this morning. That voice is not just the power and the property of a few, but it has been given to everyone. So we have this voice within us that is there. Our founder, Ernest Holmes, says, divine guidance is yours for the asking. The answer to any problem which can ever confront you already exists at the center of your being. The divine presence will guide you, guard, and protect you. It will counsel you with wisdom. It will sustain and uphold you in everything you do. You will learn to talk with it, and you will receive direct, intuitive answers. So, we're all liking that. Now, I believe in practicality. I can come and share with you this talk, but I like to give practicality. How can I put it into action? So because we're in the dance theme today, and I had to have this because I could not stand here. Well, I could have stood here and do my hula hip thing, but I want to be about the movement, dancing with the divine. So I'm going to give you an acronym, because acronyms are easy, and they're a little bit fun, and I like to have something that's easy and I can actually remember. And if I could remember it, you might be able to remember it too. So in the form of practicality, we're going to do the salsa as your dance acronym for today. So in order to tap into that still small voice, the voice that is wisdom beyond knowledge, the S stands for you need to stop and step away. So when we're in the middle of something, It is not the place. It is to stop and step away. Take a walk, take a time out, whatever it needs to be. And if you can step away from everything that is going on and just have that step away. That's your S. The next is an A. Easy, it's called ask. Don't ask, how can we receive? So to ask, I'm going to give you a couple ideas of what you can ask. I actually do a workshop called The Still Small Voice. And in that workshop, part of what we do is we do a writing exercise. So this is your invitation of what you can do. You could do this writing exercise, and it's called the Conversations with the Divine, basically just like Neil Donald Walsh. You write a letter. Dear God, self, spirit, whatever it is you name it. One thing you might want to ask, what would you like to address me as? It might be Andy, but you don't know until you ask. So in your correspondence with the divine, because you're asking, two questions that seem to be, or three questions, that seem to be very effective in the open question to the divine. Dear divine, what is it that I need to know about this situation? So, what is it that I need to know about this situation? And the important part is the next one, that I don't already know. Because I don't know about you, but might have a little bit of a know-it-all in me, and we know so much. So what is it that I don't already know, Great Spirit? When I have the writing back, it's often, some of the things that I already know are there, but like the third sentence in, all of a sudden I've written something has been written that it wasn't something that I had known or thought. So you can ask, what is it that I need to know? Here's another question. What is it that I need to do about this situation that I'm not already doing? So it's a knowing, a doing, and the last one is, what is it that I need to be that I'm not already being in this situation? So those are the three open questions. And then I always like to thank the divine ahead of time. Thank you, Great Spirit, Andy, for your answers. I look forward to hearing what you have to say. And I say, with much love and gratitude, always, Liz. Close my eyes, open my eyes. Dear Liz, my name is Andy. Or your whatever relative that your name is. What you need to know about something, or do about something, or be about this something that is specific, that you're not already knowing, doing, or being, is this, and just let your pen write back, which is the L in salsa. So we have now asked. Now it is the listening. When you're allowing the voice of spirit to write back, it is the listening part. And for me, that's how I can feel the voice, because when I start that correspondence back, I start it with Dear Liz, I am God's self, I am Great Spirit, I am Andy, because that puts it in context. No other voices. I know who's speaking to me in this part of our salsa. And then I get the answers. And then I always finish it by thanking Andy for all the wisdom. So now we have S-A-L. The S I've already spoken of, and that is to say thank you. It is always to say thank you. I like to say thank you ahead of time. I like to thank Spirit for what is, because I know that any challenge is in truth just an opportunity for the divine to show up. And so I'm thanking the divine for the opportunity. I thank the divine for the answers and what is ready to be revealed and perhaps healed, because that's what love does. Love is that factor that heals all and reveals all. So now I've said thank you. Okay, we're at the end of salsa. A, act. Take an action. What is the action I need to take? And maybe it's to do nothing. Sometimes an action means, and if Great Spirit says, wait. Sometimes we're in the cocoon of that caterpillar turning into the butterfly. And actually all the magic happens in the cocoon when we're in that waiting. I don't know about you, but I've had a lot of waiting in my life. Anybody else? So in that waiting zone, there's a lot that happens. Transformation happens in that stillness. When you don't think anything is happening, everything is happening. And there's a day where things break open, and there's a freedom, and there's a flitting about, and we're letting our butterfly love selves come into the dance of the divine. It's all the divine. We are the divine. And we are that divine guidance. If you've ever attended a symphony concert, you may have asked yourself, how can musicians, in the middle of a discordant confusion of sounds, hear the quiet tapping of one thin stick? Easily. They were expecting it. They were listening for it. Rumi says, I have been a seeker and I still am. But I stopped asking the books and the stars. I started listening to the teaching of my soul. There's a little boy, there's a farmer who's out in his barn. And he's out there and he's working away and he discovers he's lost his watch. Can't find his watch anywhere. And it's a sentimental piece. It's not just an ordinary watch. He sees kids across the street. He realizes maybe they could help find it. So he invites them over and says, I'll give you this great reward, $100 for the one that finds this watch. Kids are scurrying through the hay. They're looking everywhere. They cannot find it. So they go off and he's kind of like bummed out. This little boy comes up and says, Mister, can I go back and look again? The man says, well, sure. Farmer says, go ahead. Little boy goes in. 5 minutes later, he comes out holding the watch. The farmer is astounded and he says, how did you do that? And he goes, it was easy. I just went in and sat down. I was quiet. I heard the ticking. So may we all have this dance with the divine. Forrest Gump, I believe, was the divine in expression and didn't have a lot of knowledge. But he knew what love was. He knew what love was. He was love. Each one of us is an expression of the love. And in closing, I'm going to share the refrain quote from the song.
Isn't that interesting?
Yes. You get an A plus. So, I hope, this is Mike to you. I hope you still feel small when you stand beside the ocean. Whenever one door closes, I hope one more opens. Promise me that you'll give faith a fighting chance. And when you get the choice to sit it out or dance, I hope you dance. Thank you so much.